Okay, so I am meeting with Miss Marshall, who I thought we were meeting for one reason, and I end up finding out that she is actually ready right now to pursue federal government contracts. So this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to go into my SBA loan portal, not loan portal, but the SBA certification portal. And because where you are is ready to go ahead on and get into the certifications. Your woman-owned small business, I'm
Right,
assuming.
right.
And if you have, do you have happen to have 2 years worth of tax returns?
My own personal, my husband and I.
Okay. So it would be up to you to decide whether or not you wanted to pursue the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business certification. That would require that you provide 2 years of tax returns showing your small business work. So if there's any consultancy income on those tax returns, you might want to consider doing so. If there is not, then you just go after the woman on small business certification alone and just deal with that. Okay.
I
So
went to see an Apex counselor yesterday. Spent quite a bit of time with him. We were talking about these certifications, Hub Zone, all of that.
right.
He said, and based on where I live, I don't qualify for nothing disadvantaged. Hub Zone, woman on disadvantage. He said I don't qualify because of where I live. So
Okay.
I do qualify for the woman owned,
Okay.
minority owned, if there's a
Okay.
certification for that. He told me I did qualify for those two.
Okay. So when it comes to the economically disadvantaged, I didn't know that that was geographically restricted. I thought that was just financially restricted, but I could be,
But
you
I
know,
thought,
yeah, it doesn't hurt sometimes to double check and triple check because I
right.
live in an area that's typically not geographically considered disadvantaged. However, I obtained a economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business certification. I do know that you have to have certain income and asset level requirements, but that's just take it for what it is. It's always good to ask two different people the same question. I've learned. um at any rate, I do feel like it does make more sense for you to pursue the woman-owned small business certification. So as we are speaking, I am going to log in to the woman-owned small business portal, or to the certification portal where I became a woman-owned small business, to share with you kind of what all was involved in order to get that done. Let me see
Okay.
here.
Very good.
And it's difficult for me to find the link because they change it from time to time. Let me see
Not
here.
the government.
Not the government, right? Meanwhile, what I want for you to do is to go to NAICS.com. While I'm searching this up, I want you to go to NAICS.com. You may already know it off the top of your head, but I want to know what your primary NAICS code is.
Okay, because I threw some in there that would be middleman
Swindler.
contracting. That's another thing my Apex agent told me. He says, "Oh, you don't want to do middleman. You know, there's no money in that. You need to, because what I'd like to do is the laundry portion for the government.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Laundry." And he had me, this man was talking to me about going to rent a building, all these washers and dryers, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not trying to do that.
Okay. So another thing I'll say off the top is, you'll have to decide for yourself what you really want to focus on. And, but my recommendation is going to be different from his. I'm going to tell you that already. My
Okay.
recommendation is to operate in your area of expertise as a consultant. I understand that you may want to do some other things. Personal experience, I have done that exact same thing. I have pursued janitorial contracts. I have pursued, let me make sure my caps lock is on. There we go. I have pursued things that were not in my wheelhouse per se. However,
Okay.
I've made the most headway by pursuing things in my wheelhouse. Now, when I say headway, I have not yet received my first federal government contract. However, I am waiting for that to happen. I have an application in. I was actually invited to apply because I was in the wheelhouse of what they needed. It's the United States Army Corps of Engineers, and it's professional management and training.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
right. So the path of least resistance to a federal government contract, from my knowledge, is by operating in your area of expertise before you start going out into these other areas. So when you
Okay.
came on the call, you told me you were a consultant, and then
Hmm.
knowing that you've already got all these SAM processes done with your
Yeah.
registration, my recommendation would be for you to explore consultancy and to start there. And that doesn't mean you can't do the washers and the pens and the paper and the toilet paper and all these other things,
Right.
but you don't want to sleep on that you're an expert in, because you have receipts in that space, if that makes sense.
Okay.
um okay, so it's taking a second here to log in. I don't want to have to let me see here, continue, refresh and see if it'll log me in. So we're at the womanowned-small-business.certified.sba.gov. And if you could, if you're still on NAICS.com, if you could just let me know in the chat what the NAICS code is for a consultant. If you could put in the
Let
keyword.
me, so that's NAIC. Okay, NAICS code here. Um, and just go in and pull up consultancy.
Right here, as a matter of fact, since that site is taking a time to do it, I can actually do it here from my site. So the way you would
Okay.
do it is you would go to NAICS, and then you would do a NAICS search here, and then
Okay.
you would put the keyword in consultant. Now, what type of consultant work have you done in the past?
Well, and I just got done doing this. I put small businesses together with uh lenders, people who
Okay.
need capital for their business. The one I just completed was a church. I don't know if you got, have you ever heard of the ERC that they had out for the businesses and churches that had to close down because of COVID? The government was credit
Employee refund
employed.
credit. Right.
Mm-hmm. I just got a church, just did a church uh, with a credit of $88,000.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, because I just started this business. I just started this business. And, I'm out here marketing. People don't want to do anything with you if they don't know you. So I'm out here with my face. I'm trying to market and let these businesses know that I can help them raise capital for their business, for their operations. And I just happened to go with a church who just took a trust in me and said, let's roll. And when I got in all of their paperwork, everything into IRS, all their form numbers and everything, IRS came back and said, this church is going to be credited $88,000. Monica, you could have
Wow.
kicked my teeth up off the floor.
OMG, that's amazing. And that's even more than just consulting. It sounds like, I don't know, but in this space, as far as the government contracting, focusing on this, it would seem as if it would probably be administrative management and general management consulting services.
Exactly. I think that's in the number five range,
It
five
is.
something. It's in that range.
It looks like it's 541611.
Right. I'm looking at it now. 541611, administrative management and general management. Because I can't say that I'm lending money because I'm not.
No,
I'm not a bank. And
no,
I can't say that I'm a broker because I'm
no.
not brokering nothing, but I'm connecting businesses with lenders.
Right.
I'm the middleman. Let's look at it like that.
That is correct. That is correct. So now that we've established your NAICS code, and we know that we're pursuing the Woman-Owned Small Business certification, the next thing to do is to determine whether or not that NAICS code is an acceptable NAICS code within the Woman-Owned Small Business certification program. And the way that we do
Okay.
that is we go to the Woman-Owned Small Business certification NAICS codes.
Okay.
And when we do that on Google, we will find a .gov website, which is the SBA's website, that gives us a link to the eligible NAICS codes for the Woman-Owned Small Business Program. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that 541-611 is on the list. So let's do that first.
Okay.
Let's go down here, get to the fives.
Oh, wow. It's a lot of those codes.
Yes, yes.
Goodness. Okay.
541-611. And it should be right. 541.
Gotta go down some more. You gotta
there,
go down some more.
there we go. So it looks like 541-611
It is. It
is
is.
on the list.
Wow.
So that's a good thing. So now that we've done that, that's step one.
Okay.
Step one is realizing what your area of expertise is. Like when we first got on this call, we were talking in terms of, washers and dryers. Okay. We were talking in terms of other opportunities with the federal government or even state and county government. So
Right.
step one is stepping back and saying, what is my expertise in, and pursuing government contracts in that lane. So that was step one. Step two is, once we determine our expertise, is to determine what NAICS code is associated with that expertise. And we determined that to be 541-611.
Okay.
Step three was to determine if that NAICS code is acceptable on the Woman-Owned Small Business certification, because our goal is to become a woman-owned small business, right?
Right.
Now that we've done those three steps and we've gotten all of that out of the way, now let's head over to that dashboard that I told you that I was going to show you.
Okay.
And this is the Woman-Owned Small Business Certified.sba.gov dashboard. This is where you come to begin the Woman-Owned Small Business application process. Okay.
Okay.
So here we are on my dashboard, and in my dashboard, as you can see, it just brings everything over from SAM. So I was activated initially in October of 2020. It expires January of 2025, and the last time it was updated, yada, yada. There's my UEI, cage code, my mailing address, and my physical address. Now, here's something important to note. If you are not in a office where you have a business address, it is my recommendation that you obtain a virtual business address that has both a physical street address, not a P.O. box, and it has reception services. And the place that has both of those things is Opus Virtual Offices. Okay.
Okay.
It is an expense. However, you are trying to go after a government contract and you want to present the most professional image that you can. So it may be an expense that's worthwhile, right?
Okay.
The fact that I'm sure you just got paid from that client that you worked for, hopefully.
Not yet. IRS moves very slow, so haven't gotten paid yet.
Okay, so your payment is contingent on being successful, it sounds like, with your client.
Right. The Internal Revenue has established that this is what the church is owed.
So
Of course, they're sending, what they do is they cut the check, they send it to the church, and I invoice them.
okay. So you don't charge an upfront fee or anything
No.
of that nature. Okay. Okay.
Internal Revenue does not allow you to do that. That's one of
Oh,
the rules of the ERC mode, that you cannot charge these people up front. Your fee
okay.
comes in when Internal Revenue decides if they're eligible for the credit.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So once you invoice the church and you receive payment, you want to reinvest in your business. One of the reinvestments that I would make is securing a virtual office, and they have them all over the country. You'll get a dedicated business number. So when someone calls you, they're not getting your cell phone, they're getting a receptionist that says, "Hello, this is ABC Consulting. May I help you?" Okay. You're also getting a corporate mailing address where all of your mail will be housed. Okay. So this is important because as you go and you've already got a SAM profile now, but 9 times out of 10, that's your personal information on SAM. Am I correct?
Okay, I was going to stop you. I already have the telephone number, the 1-800 number. I already have, and I already have the mailing address
So
as
when you
well.
go to Sam, your
Hmm.
information is your business information.
When I go to Sam's, it has my physical address where I live. But then Sam has also allowed me to put in a mailing address. You can't use the mailing address to register.
Right.
Once you get registered, Sam will let you come back and say, okay, you got a mailing address, you want to add that, and I did.
Okay.
So
Let's look.
I pay a monthly fee for the phone.
Right.
It's through Grasshopper.
Right.
Pay a monthly fee for that. And I pay a monthly fee for the building where my mail comes in. That's a
Okay.
monthly fee.
So let's look you up in the small business dynamic search to see what comes up on this side when people search for you. What
Okay,
state what state are you in?
Michigan.
Okay. And what is your business's name?
Delta Funding Solutions, LLC.
Okay.
I
Delta
have you
funding.
want my I can give you my
Okay,
UEI and my cage if you
here
want.
we are. Nope, I think this just pulled you up.
There I am. Okay.
Okay. So Delta Funding Solutions LLC,
Mm-hmm.
and it has, so this is your 810-625-4431. That is your business telephone number.
No, that's my cell. Now I have given Sam the business number and the mailing address.
Is this the business mailing address?
No, that's my home.
Okay.
That's my home. So
So you
would it be somewhere else?
So no, what needs to happen is an update needs to happen at sam.gov. And I actually did an update video probably yesterday. And what I'll do is
Okay.
I'll email that to you. I'm going to be posting that on YouTube as well.
This
But
doesn't even have the correct email address.
right, I noticed that, right?
Oh my, it doesn't. Oh my.
So that's why I'm kind of glad we're doing this call, because you'll get to tighten these things up, because
Okay.
you want your SAM profile tightened up before you go to SBA. Okay.
Okay.
You
Very
don't want,
good.
yeah, because everything pulls over from the SBA. I mean, sorry, from sam.gov. So if we're going back over to, let me go back over to my dashboard here, if I can find it. Let me see here.
I think I'm going to go on and pull up Sam while I have you on here
Okay, that's fine. Let me see here.
and pull me up. Um, if you'd like, I'd like to because when I registered, I used the physical address and I used the mailing address.
Oh, I see.
When I
Okay.
registered, oh yeah, when I registered, I sure did.
Well,
Uh,
you've done everything right. It's just a matter of before you get ready to go to WOSB to start your woman-owned small business application, you just don't want to do that until you're completely updated at sam.gov, the way that you
okay,
want. Okay. But for right now, before we get off, let's just kind of move forward looking at that WOSB dashboard. I'm going to go
okay.
back over there so that we can, for whatever reason, it's kicked me out and I don't know where it went, but we'll open it up again. Oopsies. Hold on. So I got to be careful to go to the small businesses website, because there's a whole bunch of different businesses that want you to um, sign up with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like for instance, I just did a Google search for the WOSB certification application, and
Right.
the top result is a company with a .us. That's a dead giveaway. And there's another .com, and then there's Fiverr, and here's a .gov. So I had to scroll through a bunch of things to get to the actual site. So let me get back to
Wow.
it and go
And
to
you
the,
know, I didn't know that either, how specific you have to look.
you do, and let me go to the dashboard. I think that's where I was. It's just slow on the internet front right now.
Well, I'm retired from a job, so I'm retired. So I'm
You
in
got
no
all the
hurry,
time in the
Monica.
world.
I sure
And and while this is pulling up, it's just taking, there we go. Now we're back where we began. Um,
okay.
but I am going to go ahead and if you'll just check your chat, I'm going to drop the link to this directly to that site so that you can download. There's several checklists and little guides that you can download to help you once you get to this application process.
Cool.
Okay, so we're back on the dashboard, and as you can see, all of this information pulls in directly from Sam. So when you go to your Sam profile and do your updates, give it a moment, maybe a day or two, then come in and sign on and begin your Woman on Small Business application. What
Okay.
what they will need from you, okay? Here are some documents that they're going to need from you. They're going to need your proof of citizenship rather. Let me show you the entire list.
Okay.
So once you get sam.gov updated, the next step is going to be to gather these documents. You're going to need your proof of citizenship, and that was my birth certificate, I believe, and my driver's license. Okay.
You needed both of them?
I believe I only needed one, but the birth certificate is one of the ones that you can use. So
Okay.
whichever one you have, you can use that, and it doesn't have to be an original copy. You can use a photocopy. I would click on it here, but I'm probably going to be putting this on the internet, and I don't want people to see my.
No, no, don't do that.
Right.
I understand. Don't do that.
Same thing with my tax returns. I provided 2 years worth of tax returns, even though it says, there we go. I had to probably upload it twice. So I've got a 2021 tax return and I've got a 2020 tax return. Why? Because I made application in 2022, and that's the only,
Okay.
those returns were current at that time.
Okay.
Um, I had to provide a resume. And the reason I had to provide a resume was to explain how I operate in my other two businesses.
Okay.
So when you go through this certification process and you claim to be the woman owned 51% owner of this business, but
Hmm.
yet you have multiple businesses, they will ask you how much time are you spending in each. And so in addition to providing my resume, I also had to provide a summary and correspondent in response to this correspondence. In the correspondence
Okay.
I can share with you, I will open that up and you will see that April of last year, they sent me a letter that says, I recently submitted an application. My information is being processed. However, there were issues that needed to be addressed. They
Okay.
they cited the issue according to the Code of Federal Regulations, and it says that they wanted clarification on control. In this Woman Owned Small Business program, a lot of people try to be the owner on paper, but not really in real life. For instance, um, a husband who is a contractor puts his wife on as the owner so that they can get a woman owned small business certification and so they can go after government contracts.
Oh
Well,
my.
they don't want that. So
Okay.
this particular section, this letter they sent me was to address that to make sure that I had the most control of this business. It says provide a letter of explanation for your outside ownership at Out the Mud Farm and People First Realty to include your schedule, the number of hours per week you work. Also provide your schedule and the number of hours you work at complete signings. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have other businesses, prepare yourself to explain or prepare that your reviewer may need you to explain certain things. If that doesn't apply to you, no big deal. Okay.
Right. No, that this none of this applies to me at all. Just the one business I have, and I'm
Okay.
retired, so I don't work anywhere else or work in any other business.
Perfect. So next you will need to provide your articles of organization for
Have
your
those.
LLC. And you will
Okay.
also need an operating agreement. Do you have that?
I do.
Awesome. So outside of that, that's it. Okay. Once you provide them with all of the information, as you can see here, it'll take them approximately 3 or 4 months to, depending on their workload, to get you approved. And I got an official letter in April of 2023. And as you can see, I began the process in significantly in October. I uploaded, it looks like in 2021, I started the process, but then didn't really get all of my information in until October of 2022.
Okay.
And then by April of 2023, so what is that, about 6 months? October, November, December, January, February, March, April, 6, 7
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
that is what you can expect when you begin your woman-owned small business application. But again, you're going to go and tighten up your SAM profile first to make sure.
Now, I got on my SAM profile and I'm looking at the area that says update. Well, it brought up the business. Is it any way I can share this with
Yeah.
you? Okay. And
At
then
the
you can
bottom,
see it.
yeah, at the bottom, you should, let me make it where you can share, and then you can just share your screen.
Okay.
Okay, it's ready.
Let me know if you see it.
Okay. It does. It's loading it up now. There we
Okay.
go.
Okay. So here I am into SAM. Um, my UEI cage, the address. So I'm just wondering, am I going to go here and do
Correct.
an update?
That is correct.
Okay, so let's do an update. Okay, physical address, verify SAM record. I am the officer, blah, blah, blah. I certify that I am authorized.
That is correct.
Next. Okay. There I am again. Would you like to update? So would I like to update my now?
Entire registration. The points of contact may not allow for you. Let's go up to see what it allows for you to do. This update does not replace your required annual entity renewal. Okay, points of contact, I think, are just going to, I don't know. This is very interesting because I've never done that. I've never just done points of contact. I've always updated my entire registration, which takes about 15 minutes. So,
Well, I can, probably get through that.
yeah,
Uh, oh, okay. And of course, I want my highest. Um, Define my entity. Okay, very good. There I'm going. Edit. I don't want to edit the cage
no,
code.
no, with your update, you just hit next.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Hit next.
hit next.
And so we're reviewing your current information right now. And then you want to tell it, this is not my entity's correct information, and I can provide documented proof of our correct legal business name and address. So you want to make sure you check that second circle down there because your address is not correct.
Okay. Now, but it's a digital address. Will it let me get away with it?
If you have a physical street address, even if it's a virtual office, as long as it's a physical street address. So let's just hold tight for just a second. This digital address that you have, is it a P.O. box?
No, let me tell you what it is. It's actually a mailbox through Staples. They have that. It's in the Staple office supply building, and all of my mail is mailed there. Address, suite number,
Okay.
city, state, zip. It's
So
not
here,
a PO box.
okay, so here's what's going to happen. Even though it's not a P.O. box, the IRS is going to recognize that other businesses have this same address. And so what's going to happen is the folks at that do the verification are going to send you an email. And they're going to say, you know what? We're going to reject this registration if you use this address because we know that it's just a place where a bunch of businesses go and get an address. That happened with me. I got an email
Okay.
that said, hey, you're not a physical location. I need you to provide me with a copy of your lease. I did not have a copy of a lease because, again,
Right.
this is not a real office space. So
Right.
the problem with Staples, however, what I was able to provide to them was a agreement that I had to sign with Opus. It's a 30-day agreement. And
Okay.
when you go to Opus, and I can show you mine, they provide it to you. Now, Staples, I don't know if they offer this service. So before you do anything else in this entity registration, because
Okay.
I don't want you to change it if it's going to cause your registration to go inactive, because
Right.
you are active currently, and even though your home address is listed, you can still go after government contracts right now. So I don't want anything to delay you, okay? The only reason
Okay.
for changing this is because of the woman-owned small business
Right.
application. So let's cancel out of this for now. Let's verify that Staples can provide you with a document that verifies your quote unquote lease, okay,
Okay.
before we go messing with your sam.gov profile,
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
okay? Because
Okay.
what I want to do now is I want to go over to sam.gov because, and this is for anybody watching this, and I want everybody to listen to me real close. If you have a UEI and a SAM and a cage code, you need to be going after government contracts right now, period.
See,
Okay.
I didn't know that. I'm taking all these classes to try to learn how to do this, Monica. See, I didn't know
Okay. Okay. So, and this is the
that I
thing,
can. Well, so I should go on and sign out of
get
this.
out of there for right now. Okay. You have an active
Okay.
registration. You are in the DSBS, even though the information in there is not exactly what we want, you're in there. Okay. You're ahead of the
Okay.
game. Okay. So I'm going to take the
Cool.
sharing of the screen back
Okay. I am going to stop share.
because where you are is so good that I don't want anything to delay you from moving forward. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I do want you to become a woman owned small business. Yes, I do want you to check at Staples, get your address and stuff fixed at Sam, but that can happen later. Okay. You don't need
Okay.
to do that in order to pursue your first contract. And I'm going to show you why. So, what I'm
Okay.
going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to head over to, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this woman-owned small business now that you know a little bit about what to expect there. I'm going to
Okay.
go ahead
Very
and
good.
sign out of that. And then instead, I'm going to go over to sam.gov.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to log in. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to search for your NAICS code, okay? 541611. So
Correct.
this is what you need to do in your admin time every day. Monday through Friday, you need to take 10 to 15 minutes and you need to search this particular NAICS code just to see what has been added to SAM.
Cool.
So what we see here is we have 641 different results, and we're just going to go through these really quickly, but yet very intentionally. When we see this term notice, we scroll past it. Notice is something that they're already getting ready to do. You don't need to participate in it because why? It's already done and they're about to award somebody. So don't waste any of your precious admin time clicking on that to be nosy. Okay. In your
Oh, all right.
in your admin time, you want to focus on opportunities that you have time to respond to. Okay.
Okay.
So this is another notice. Boom. I'm scrolling. These are all notices. Notices. I don't care. Notices. Notices. They're telling me about an award. Notice. This is an amendment. Information delivery. Special studies. Wait a minute. Notice is not always a bad thing. Let me go back up here. Okay, so let me start over. This is a notice that you do want to look at because this is an intent to sole source, which means the government is about to give the contract out to somebody specifically. So I take that back. No, you don't want to look at this one because they are going to give it to somebody. But this notice may be one that we need to look at. Nope, that's an awardee. We don't want that one. When it says award over here, you don't want it. Now, when there's a
Okay.
date in the future, this is what you want to look at because this says solicitation. It's still a notice ID, but it's a solicitation nonetheless.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what we've got. It's been updated and it's due March the 13th. Today is February the 29th. This is another thing I want to point out. You want to make sure that you only go after things that you have time to pursue. If the due
Okay.
date is within 2 weeks, you don't have to.
Mm-hmm. I
You're not
don't
going
have time if it's within 2 weeks.
No, you're not going to have time because you
Okay.
need time to be able to do your research and you might be able to get away with a week, but most of the time I would like to say 2 weeks is that's personally what I choose to use as my personal buffer window. If
Well,
you're
wouldn't I probably have to find someone to fulfill that?
exactly, that's why I'm saying you need 2 weeks. So
Okay.
you need time in order to be able to get these things done. And if you don't have enough time, it's going to be challenging. So
Okay.
quickly you look at it, personnel and readiness, infrastructure support management, the contract is designed to provide personnel and readiness, its directories and strategic mission partners with innovative and cost-effective services that incorporate industry best practices to meet the demands with dynamic global threat and security. This is too much. I'm not doing this. You're not doing this. It's too much. It's too specific. It's too niche. Go to the next one, right?
Okay.
That's how you pursue these in your admin time. Let's go to one. NATO business opportunity, modernization of allied command. No, too much. AFDW wargaming requirement. That just sounds like too much. Performance assessment of the effectiveness of DFC loan portfolio grant guarantee sub-Saharan Africa. Too much. So keep scrolling through these for something that looks like you could get in on. Information delivery. Okay, special studies, reporting, and business services support. This would be interesting, except for it's an award notice and it's already happened. It was in the Department of Housing and Urban Development, so we're going to keep it moving.
So when
Vistra,
you see notice ID, that means it's already being awarded.
not necessarily. I was incorrect. When you see notice ID, you still might need to click on it to investigate further.
Okay.
But if you see notice ID and the word awardee, yes,
Oh,
it's
okay.
already been awarded. But you see
Okay.
this one, it says notice ID, but it doesn't have awardee.
Right.
Okay. So another way that you could do this is this is just one way you can search. Let me see if I can't find something that's pretty general. Multiple award schedules already been done. Haha. Executive consulting services. Bam. Okay.
Wow.
So far, so good.
Okay. Health
Next
and
step,
Human Services.
right? So my next step after the title drawing me in is to check the date. Current date offers due March the 19th. Okay. So
Okay.
now I'm going to click on it. This is what you do in your admin time. You scroll past all the other stuff that looks too complicated. Don't try to become
Okay.
a NASA scientist, okay? Okay, so we go to the ones that look like they make sense for us. Then
Okay.
we scroll down to look for the scope of work. And the way you find that is before we do that, it's a set aside. So this is an 8A set aside. And if you're not 8A, it's not for you. So
That's right.
we go back to the drawing board.
I have learned that about that.
Okay, so let's just keep it moving. Keep it moving, keep it
I
moving.
really don't want to become an 8A until I have a certain amount of contracts under my belt because that's a
Okay.
limited program.
It is. It's got a time limit on it.
That's
So
right.
you got to
That's
make sure
right.
that you're ready to go.
From the gate, from
Mhm.
day one. Yeah.
Now, this is just a summit. The State Department is having a summit for the National Small Business Federal Contracting Summit. So when you see things like this, these are events that you may be interested in attending.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And here's an industry day. So these are all events. Now, multiple award schedule, virtual auditing, all of these are just things that we need to just scroll past. Okay.
Okay.
Transition assistance program support due March the 13th to support and enhance the TAP vets. And let's see here what they want. Let's make sure it's not a set aside, and it's not. Okay. There's no specific group that they've set this aside for.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the description is to support the enhancement of the TAP vets requires a contract of the TAP. Vets requires a contractor to provide transitioning service members and their spouses on how to enrich their skills to secure meaningful and successful careers in the civilian labor force, research and identify civilian occupations, establish career goals, learn about credentialing and vocational training programs, while decreasing dependence upon unemployment compensation. Now, you might could do this, right? This sounds like something that you might be able to figure out, right? You're able to figure out the IRS and businesses, so maybe you can find a teaming partner that's already in this space, in the workforce development space, to partner with, okay? That's how
Okay.
you would approach this. So what you would do is you would go to the statement, to the solicitation itself, and you would open it up. Right now, you're not committing to do anything yet. You're just getting more information about what is involved in the scope of work and whether or not you will have time to go out into the business community and find a suitable partner, right?
Okay.
So here we're going through the solicitation, but what we're going to do is we're going to look in the scope of work. So here they are telling us right here that the Department of Labor, Office of Senior Procurement Executive, on behalf of the Veterans Employment Training Service, has a need for da 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 da. This RFQ will result in a single award labor hour task order. The period of performance will consist of one 12-month base period with 4 12-month optional periods. So it will start May the 1st of 2024 and go through April of 2025 and possibly go into 2026 and 27 and 28.
Wow.
Now, it does say that this requirement is restricted to vendors with a General Services Administration, Human Capital, and Training Solutions contract. So that's not us. So now we don't get excited about it. They've excluded us. We need to get out of here because we don't have that GSA designation.
Is that what that means, that I'd have to have the GSA?
That's
Okay.
correct. And registering with the GSA is one thing, but they were requiring a designation within the, not just being registered at GSA, but having a designation specifically available through the GSA. So
Okay.
that means it's not for us. So that gives you one way to go about searching for opportunities. Now, another way that you can search for opportunities is locally. So you're in the state of Michigan.
Right.
What city are you in?
Flint.
Okay. So let's look just for kicks and giggles. Let's see what's happening in Flint, Michigan. I search NAICS code and I also search just by the locality. And when I search by Flint, Michigan, I just see one person, his business comes up, and that's fine. It's not an opportunity. That's just somebody like you and me who has registered at sam.gov. Now
Okay.
instead of searching Flint, Michigan, now I'm just going to search Michigan.
You know what? That person, I didn't see a UEI or a cage code.
We're not going to worry about it because we're on our
Okay.
admin time and we're not going to go down any rabbit holes, right?
Oh, that's what the, okay.
We're focused, okay? We're
Okay.
focused on the mission at hand, which is to find an opportunity for your business because you're only going to do this 10 or 15 minutes at a time a day, okay?
Okay.
So now that we are searching for the state, now we see some other opportunities. This one's due March the 8th. This is the Northwest Detroit VA Clinic. They want somebody to express interest. So let's just see what this is all about.
Hmm.
Let's first see if this is set aside. It's not. The next code is not our next code, but let's just see if we couldn't make something work. This is the U.S. Department of VA seeks expressions of interest for 3,514 American National Standards Institute building owners of square feet, basically, of outpatient clinic space in Detroit. So it looks like they're trying to figure out if there's anybody out there who can provide 3,500 or so square feet of outpatient clinic space. It says the VA seeks to lease approximately 3,514 square feet of office and medical space and surface parking spaces for use by the VA as an outpatient clinic. Now, they're going to give you the northern boundary, eastern boundary, southern boundary, or western boundary. So this may be a little bit outside of your wheelhouse because it's getting into the real estate. But
Exactly.
I would just kind of just look at that quickly and go on to the next.
Okay.
Stone Supply, Amendment 2 posts, okay, March the 5th. That's a little bit close. Today's February 29th. This is March the 11th, Manufactured Housing Installation Program Services. Again, that's getting into the real estate.
Right.
Pavement preservation. Let's see here. That one isn't even filled out. Purchase of 2 navigation bridges. So again, a lot of these are not going to be in your wheelhouse. We're searching for the state. That's why these are coming up. So again, this is the third way we've searched for sam.gov. And when we find that we're not finding anything that we would like, then that
Mhm.
means it's time for us to go back and revisit our next codes. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe we're a little too broad. Maybe we need to kind of come in a little bit more specific. And so since we can't really show receipts in any specific area of consultancy, then I would say this would be the time where I'm going to keep my consultancy NAICS code, but I'm also going to start looking for those um, opportunities to provide, like you were wanting to at first, products. That's when you start going outside of your
Right.
core competency. That's the only time if that you go outside of that core competency when you discover that there's not a lot of opportunity in your core competency. That's where
Okay.
you go outside of it. So the government needs lots of things. Let's just for kicks and giggles see what's happening in the notary space before we get out of too much. Let's go there. You're about to get your commission.
Okay.
So notary is under 541199. Let's check that real quick. 541199. So legal services, litigation, alternative dispute resolution, um, patent and trademark. That's a little bit more legal than we want, and there's only one page of that. So
Right.
not a lot there. And so that was that.
What's a BPA?
I am not sure. And then when we search for notary, nothing.
Nothing. Right.
Just leave that alone. Now we're gonna go and search sam.gov for let's just say toilet paper. Okay. Things that consumables, right? That you know that people are gonna need. Here's one, janitorial services for Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas. So that's January 15th of 2024. We're not gonna worry with it because it's in the past. Sanitation rental service for Hoosier National Forest. That's March the 10th. It's a 100% set aside for small business, which you actually could qualify for. The only problem is you'd only have 10 days to figure it out. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
we're going to go past that. Chemical latrines and hand washing stations, you don't have enough time to figure that out.
Okay.
This is and it's not necessary that you figure it out. This is just a sources sought. So if you were interested in this, all you need to do is send an email by March the 4th. So chemical latrines and hand washing stations in Haiti, that's still a little bit much. Okay.
That's out there.
I
No
would
set
I would
aside.
I would say it's no set
Oh,
aside.
wait a minute. Maybe it was a set aside. Was there a set aside?
No.
No. Okay.
but it's too much because it's in another country, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
you could figure it out. You can figure anything out, but there's certain things you don't want. You choose your battles, okay?
Okay.
When you're just getting started, you don't want to go something to do something that's that out of your whatchamacallit. Okay, toilet paper. This guy
Wow.
this got an award for some toilet paper for the federal prison system. Okay.
Wow.
This is an award notice, and they got toilet paper. They got a $14,997 contract for providing toilet paper, and they were just awarded it on February the 13th.
That's not a bad payday.
No, it's not, but they have to buy the toilet paper with that money. So they're
Right.
not going to be making all of that as profit, but this is how you approach it. So we only got about 5 more minutes. So I want
Okay.
to make sure I have an opportunity to answer any questions that you might have about what we've talked about today.
So far, Monica, no questions. I mean, you made it so plain. I just have to go do the work. But no questions thus far. I do see that the notary part doesn't have a whole lot. I also see that you're a signing agent, and I'm like, I kind of think that I don't know if I want to pay to learn that because that's kind of saturated too.
Well,
Uh,
I will tell you that I am actually not a signing agent. I started out like you, got my notary commission, wanting
okay,
to explore what opportunities were out there to make money. I took all of the loan signing training and determined that it was not my ministry. And so
okay.
instead of that, I'm a real estate broker as well. I own my own brokerage.
Oh
So
wow, okay,
after going through the trainings and realizing that it wasn't for me, I decided to open up a notary brokerage. And so I called it Complete Signings, and I was going to set up a signing service. However,
okay.
when I began to recruit in my Facebook group called Notary Nerds, I realized that there was a lot of people joining my Facebook group that didn't want to do the notarizations either. So I said,
Why wouldn't they? You became a notary for that reason, right?
right, but what I found in growing this group back when I started it, when I was trying to recruit, I found that most people did not want to drive the distances for the loan signings. They
Oh,
didn't want
okay,
to print out the 200 and 300 pieces of paper required.
okay.
Uh, they didn't want to, and this was during COVID, be in people's homes that were sick with COVID.
Right,
And
right.
they also didn't want to have to wait 30, 60, and 90 days to get paid if they got paid. So those were some of the things that kept me from pursuing loan signing agent as an opportunity. And when I saw that as a, consistent theme in the group, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to just go ahead and start Notary Nerds.
Okay, all
Okay.
right.
So I provided a place to address the problem, which is people wanted a different way to make money with the notary commission. So I created Notary Nerds University to solve that problem. But now
Mm-hmm.
we focus on government contracts, which is how you found us.
Right, exactly. Now, let me also ask you this. I'm only a notary in Michigan. So when I went to Google and say, how do you become a notary in all 50 states? If
You can't.
and okay, that's what it said. Well, it said I would have to go to the state itself and
You have
become a notary.
every state has residency requirements in their
Okay,
own way. So either you have to have a place of business or a you have to have a place of business and or personal residence in every state's requirements. So I can't really say for sure, no, you cannot. But is it really feasible? No.
no,
Because when it comes to actually performing notarizations, there's jurisdictional requirements on where you're physically located when you
okay.
conduct that notarization.
Well,
So,
now, who are the people that, and the reason I'm asking this question is because I didn't ask the person who did it. My mom passed, I sold her house. Uh, some of the paperwork had to be notarized, and I got this sister online,
okay.
and we did everything online. And I asked her, was she a notary? And she said, yeah. But I didn't ask her if she was from Michigan. Now, I did not ask that.
Oh, okay. So what you had was called a remote online notarization. And
Right.
yes, a remote online notary is commissioned in their state to conduct remote online notarizations basically wherever they need, wherever the person is, they can do the remote online notarization. So that's what you experienced. And so whether or not she was from Michigan, it probably didn't matter because she has that remote online notarization commission, she's able to provide notarizations online. It's all about seeing the signer, verifying that the signer is signing of their own will, and certain
Okay.
states allow for remote online notarizations to occur. So that's what that was. Now, I don't know
Okay.
what is available in Michigan in that regard. If you are able to become a remote online notary, then you might want to explore that. But again, I believe that your highest and best use of your time is not being a worker bee and doing
Right.
notarizations here or there. I think you are providing a tremendous value to your clients as far as what you're doing with the ERC. I would actually like to talk to you about my own business. I don't know if my own business would qualify for the ERC. So,
Here's the problem, Monica. Let me stop you right there. It was supposed to continue on until April of 2025. And there was so much fraud. A lot of these so-called businesses were sending in trying to get this money. Sent up a red flag to Internal Revenue that a lot of businesses were committing fraud to get money. So they stopped the program.
oh,
They
okay.
stopped. So if it comes back up, you're the first person I'm coming to.
Got you. Got you.
Okay. Do you have any W-2 employees?
I don't. I did at one point.
Okay. You have to have W-2 employees because here's the thing. This is how you get the credit back. When you have W-2 employees, you physically take the Social Security, Medicare tax right out of their check,
Right.
and you as a business have to match it.
Right.
All of that is put on a 941 form and sent to Internal Revenue whenever you do your payroll.
Right.
That's where your credit is a payroll credit. That's
Oh,
where
okay.
your credit comes from. So
Okay.
people who do 1099s for employees did not qualify.
Okay.
Um, People who were actually themselves the only W-2 employee, Internal Revenue said, nah, that's not really an employee yourself. That's more or less like a business and you're the owner. So
Right.
no, that didn't qualify. You had to have at least two W-2 employees up to 500. 500 employees was the cutoff
Was
because
it
this,
full time? Did they have to be, both of them had to be full time employees?
no, full
I
or
missed out.
part-time.
I missed out on it because in 2020 I actually had 20 W-2 employees, but now it sounds like I just have missed out on a good opportunity. Um,
Right, because you could have received up to $26,000 per employee.
well, they didn't work that much. I only had them for maybe about 4 or 5 months out of the year.
Don't
But,
matter.
but I had to issue a W-2 this year for that work. So,
Okay, it doesn't matter. They could have been part-time, full-time. The Internal Revenue decides the credit that
uh,
would be given
appropriate.
to you appropriate for your business. Like I said, this church, let me give you some information. With this church that I did, they had five W-2 employees. One was the pastor, a secretary, clerk, the janitorial folk, they was W-2 employees. And I can't remember, they might have been somebody on the trustee board who they actually paid a payroll check to, took taxes out of their checks. The church matched the taxes, got put on a 941 and sent to Internal Revenue. Okay. So you had to be in business doing this. COVID hit March of 2020. So you had to be established in your business with these employees for March of 2020. That was the first rule. Okay. So if you fell in that category, okay, then even if you lost the business after March of 2022, you still qualify. Because what did the government do to all of us? Shit, everybody. I was working for GM and we didn't work for 3 months because the government shut GM down where we couldn't build another truck. Okay. So, and you had to have uh Trump set it up when he was the president. He set it up for small businesses up to 100 employees. When President Biden came on board, he included churches. That's how churches got in there. Churches are businesses. And he moved the number of employees up from 100 to 500. So that let other small businesses with anywhere between 100 and 500 employees, it let them in on the game. Now, that's probably where the mistake was because that's where all the fraud came in.
Yep. Yep.
Long as you kept it at 100 employees, the way Trump started it, you didn't have that issue. I
Right.
understand what President Biden was doing. He was trying to help keep these businesses in business. I
Right.
get it. I get it. But you got people who just won't do the right thing,
They
period.
won't. They
They
won't.
won't. So because of the fraud, that was the reason Internal Revenue said, okay, we're done. They cut it off this past November.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
I could have just made,
in March of 2020, I wasn't an established business anyway. So I don't think I would have
oh,
made.
you wasn't. Okay. Yeah. You had to be an established business with employees that you were paying their salary
Yeah.
as of either February or March of 2020.
Yeah.
No.
That's probably what it was
Okay.
that I didn't. I remember it would come into my text. I got a lot of companies sending me that. And I
Oh,
remember that
yeah.
now that I didn't start Notary Nerds University until January of 2021.
Okay, so no, that you missed the qualification
Yeah.
there. It was a 2 year thing. It's a 2 year thing. So you could have gotten the credit for, and they Internal Revenue split it up in quarters, depending
Mm,
on when you started, what quarter you started your business in.
okay.
So if you was from the very beginning, you could have got all the 4 quarters of 2020 and 3 quarters of 2021.
Okay.
Everybody got the 4 quarters that qualified for 2020, but because of the fraud, they cut off the 3 quarters of the 2020. Yes, ma'am. They broke my heart because that business I was really getting into. I
Right.
was doing churches more so than business, more so than restaurants and floors and bakeries. And
Right.
I was grabbing these churches. These
Right.
churches needed the money.
Well, I
And
can tell you this, the fact, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I got to point this out, especially for people who are going to watch this back. What she just described is niching down.
yeah,
She focused on a specific group within a group. Businesses are the big group, but she decided to focus on a specific group within a group. So if you're watching this video and you have a small business and you're trying to be everybody's friend, that's not how you do it. So go ahead. I just wanted to point that out.
okay. So now that that's all over with, there is another niche that I can get into for businesses that Internal Revenue is real heavy in, and the SBA, which is R&D, research and development. So
Mm.
I have even narrowed it down even more to go after people in that, go after businesses in that arena.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, this has been a very eye-opening experience for me. You are so knowledgeable about the ERC, and I can tell you there's probably plenty of businesses that you'll still be able to provide assistance to. And the fact that you're, niching down like you are, it's just a matter of, you taking, and this is one thing I will tell everybody. If you have a success like you have had, you have gotten a church $88,000. You need to, when they get that check, you need to take a picture of it. You need to take a picture of it with them. You need to take a picture with you holding you shaking the pastor's hand, and you need to get a quote from the church saying about how their experience was with you. And you need to take
Okay.
that and use it as marketing material in order to go and get more businesses. And on that note, how did you feel about this experience, and how have you felt about Notary Nerds so far that you've been a part of it?
Absolutely wonderful because Monica, nobody else has you held my hand through this. I'm a type of person, I learned through hand holding. You
Mm,
have actually, in this space and time, held my hand to the point it was so understandable till when I start my 15 minutes of searching, it would be
right.
so much more easier for me.
Very good.
Wonderful experience. You're an awesome teacher, leader. Truly love it. Nobody else has given me this experience. And can I also throw one thing out there for
Absolutely.
small businesses who need funding? For
Yes.
small
Tell them how
business
to reach you.
who need funding. Okay. Delta Funding Solutions, LLC. My number is 833-335-8217. You can go directly to my website and apply. You can go directly to my website and learn what type of funding you need for your business. We do real estate, purchase of equipment. If your business needs a line of credit, if you need bridge loans, or or to
Ooh,
consolidate loans, you can actually apply on my website, and
let's
that
go.
is www.deltafunding.solutions with an S on the end.com. deltafunding.solutions.com.
There
There
she
I
is.
am. Exactly.
I love it. So business funding, you can professional working capital solutions. So we can
Exactly.
go to your website and just hit apply and put in our information, and you'll
Exactly.
be able to help us. So we'll need to know things like the only thing you need to know really on here is your credit score. That's it.
Exactly. What your monthly revenue is and how much you want to be funded. Tell me what you want to be funded for. You need to buy additional equipment. You own a restaurant, you want to buy a couple more freezers to add. You want to expand the restaurant where you want to put more table and chairs in it, or build onto it, or buy the building next door and knock down a wall and expand your restaurant. This is what I do. I like
I
to
love
say,
it.
when the banks tell you no, we tell you yes.
Speaking of which, what is the minimum credit score? Because you don't want a whole bunch of people clogging up your pipeline, wasting your time. Is there a minimum credit score that you need to see in order to obtain business funding?
680.
680. So for those of you who don't have a 680 yet, don't come and do a whole bunch of don't bother Miss Marshall. Let her you go fix your credit first and then come back and then apply. Okay? Do what you need to do on your credit and get it where it needs to be. Then come back to Delta Funding Solutions and apply for finance.
And if you need some help with getting your credit fixed, you can still call me because I can help you with that as well.
Ooh, go ahead. All right, this has been awesome. I'm about to get out of here for my next appointment, and I am so thankful for the time. I know we thought we were going to get on here. I thought we were doing Facebook ads, and I'm so glad that it turned into this on government contracting.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and with your permission, I will share this video to my YouTube channel and to my email database so they can be everybody can get in contact with you if they need you. Is
You
that
definitely have my permission. Yes, ma'am.
awesome? Awesome. All right. Well, I'm out of here and I will see you on YouTube.
Thank you so much, Monica. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye now.